Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, the Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, and began me, Lord, Son of David, my daughter is tormented by a demon. But Jesus did not say a word in answer to her. Jesus' disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did Jesus promise, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of children and throw it to the dogs." Said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their master." And Jesus said to her in reply, "Oh, woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the woman's daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord. The scriptures are reminding us that God is God to all the nations. Isaiah makes reference to it in a treat to Isaiah because there's 4 parts, probably 4 different writers of the book of Isaiah. But through Isaiah there is inclination to believe that God is God of all people, of all nations. There is an assumption, however, in Isaiah's portion here that those others from out there will be converted and will be brought into the fold as well. But the invitation and the welcome is open to all nations. When I was a deacon, 3 of us during our semester break in January, just arrived to New Orleans. That sounds naughty, doesn't it? It's really a neat place. But Mike, one of the 3 of us, was from the Green Bay Diocese, but his parents were now living in Birmingham, Alabama. So Tom and I and Mike agreed we would drive down to New Orleans, spend a few days there, actually celebrated my birthday while I was down there, and then go over to Mike's house, where his parents were in Birmingham, spend a few days there, and then return back to Milwaukee. Well, one of the nights, we were figuring out what we were going to do, we decided we would go to see a movie. And those were still the days when all the movies were listed in papers. I'm talking 1969 here. And so the theater, the movie we went to see. So we found it on the map, remember maps? And found it and thought we were there. It was dark already by that point in January, so short day light. And the movie went on. When the movie was over, and the credits were all done, the lights in the house went on, we noticed that we were the only 3 white people in the whole theater. One that reacted to that very negatively was fright, because of maybe some stereotypes of what we might think could happen. We're obviously in a black neighborhood, and we're here to talk about it today. All people are God's people. And sometimes we're prejudiced because of all kinds of things that could interfere with our God teaches us about loving one another. Now, a little infant like Ada Rose here can do nothing wrong. Tough, he's going to do what she wants to do. And then we're going to try to mold her in such a way that she will become a perfect child, perfect teenager, and perfect adult. Nice job we have. But we promised that we, through faith in our own example, would try to assist in that. Not only we can, in fact, help do that. But when a child gets to be about 6 years, 7 years old, and a child can become a little unique personality is really developing. When I was a pastor at St. John Byron and St. James in Oakfield, just right outside of Fond du Lac, the parish St. John was celebrating its 140th anniversary. So I suggested we should make something of this. After all, it's a little country parish, been here a long time. And we invited one of the bishops to be present. Archbishop Clinton was gracious to come. Former priests that had served there were there. I mean, the church, St. John's of Ireland, at that time stuffed would hold 150 people. Little country church. We have a picnic, you bring your own food, milk supply, and beverages, and that was really very, very nice. Now we're sitting at the table under the Archbishop, and little Nicholas Lavoff was with his parents and family right next table. And at one point he decided to come over, not forbidden from his parents, as I understand, but he started sparring with Archbishop Weekland. Now, Archbishop Weekland was at one time the prime abbot of the Benedictine community, traveled the world, speaks fluently at least 6 languages, if not more, worked on international programs, headed the writing of a document on the economy for the Conference of Bishops. I mean, this guy had a lot of things going. Very intelligent, one of those people with recall memory, incredible. So we're here chit-chatting, sparring with a 7-year-old Nicholas Lavoff. At one time, Nicholas said, "I'll give you a quarter if you give me $1." So the Archbishop pulled out his wallet and pulled out a dollar bill. And Nicholas took it, and he said, "Keeping the quarter too." And his mother was hearing all this right over there, and she's trying to interrupt, and he said, No. Well, it went on for a few minutes, and then he said, "Nicholas, when is your birthday?" And he told him, and the Archbishop took a little piece of paper and wrote on here, Nicholas Lavoff, going on whatever the date was, and studied his wallet. Now, Mary, his mother, was the bookkeeper, so I would have interaction with her, business related from time to time. Well, some months later, a piece of mail came to the rectory, addressed to Nicholas Lavoff, no return address. You know where this is going. I had no idea why or what this could be, so when I saw Mary, I gave it to her. And then the next time I saw her, he said, "Do you know what that was?" A birthday card for Nicholas Lavoff. I bring that little episode up is because at times we used to say, at least I know I'm up with that, kids are to be seen but not heard. And here's this little kid, interrupts us at the table, spars with the Archbishop, and he does not forget to send a birthday card to his little kid. He's 37 years old now, because I put it up. And anyway, so we need to treat all people with acceptance, young, old, healthy, wise. Just like I know everybody in Menomonee Falls are probably millionaires. So No. You want up to the $900,000 category? Yeah. But we can make stereotypes of neighborhoods and who lives there, and make judgments against or for someone based on one's job, or where one is from, or the color of one's skin, how one speaks, etc., etc., etc. And we can be very divisive. Paul was bringing up the fact that he became, as a Jew, the apostles of the Gentiles. Someone as adamant as he was about his Jewish faith, saw the light and was brought into becoming a follower of Jesus, whom he never met when Jesus was alive. But what a dynamo he was, and doing everything he possibly could to draw people. The Jewish people seemingly were pushing aside at that point, but the Gentiles were very interested, and he forgiven his all. So there would not be a barrier to bringing in people that he would not have been comfortable with at one time in his life, but in a real change of heart. The gospel. My goodness. Isn't it kind of jarring to hear Jesus say what he says in the gospel today? If you read the same account as is in Mark's gospel, in Matthew he kind of tones it down a bit. He blames the apostles for wanting this woman to be silenced. But in Mark's gospel, Jesus just says it outright to her. And doesn't have anyone else involved. But what's Jesus to do? He knows his position in the community as a believer, Jewish. He didn't end up in this Gentile territory of choice. He was being harassed a lot back home, so he wants to get away from it all. So he has to end up in this predicament. And here he is. This woman comes up and says, "Heal my daughter." And Jesus looks the other way, because that's what he's expected to do. You got to talk to a woman, let alone a Syrophoenician, this Gentile woman, totally out of order. He knows the customs. She doesn't give up. That's the role of a mother. They don't give up for the sake of their children. And so she just confronts Jesus. You don't take the food of the children and go to the dogs. That's all. You may love her dogs, but that was, I understand that some have interpreted that to mean the Gentiles were seen as dogs, not part of the community at all. But this woman changes Jesus' mind about his unwillingness to assist. Interesting, isn't it? Some of you can say this may be the most transformational moment in Jesus' public ministry. Women have power. Women have courage. I have heard women preach the gospel. Wow. Jesus had many women friends, and some of them are noted in the scriptures being very influential and critical in the life of Jesus. He saw things from a new perspective, a transitional moment. It's so very easy to think Jesus was born the Son of God, and he was always way up here somehow, surpassing everything. But all that he had learned as a boy about what it means to be a Jewish male in the society, he was not holding true to the larger message of God's love. He has changed heart, thankfully. And is a good example to us. Well, the change that we have brought in Jesus' own heart and soul is something I don't doubt may be a challenge to us too. Because we do judge one another way too often. And we put people in our category. we don't think they belong or they deserve equal attention or care. That even Jesus would have a big heart to bring home to someone in need. It seems like it's only right for us to do it. So maybe we have to face those challenges, or those prejudices, and those presumptions that we have about people and about situations. Maybe very uncomfortable with it, but rather maintain the status quo, whatever that could be, to keep me out of the context of life, which is changing, has changed, and some change may have to take place in us. Thinking outside the box, moving beyond our complacency, is a call to all believers. So again, we make a promise to individuals here, for parents and grandparents, that we are going to be the best example and get best of ourselves to individuals, whoever, whenever those opportunities will exist. Of course, we put the pressure on the parents because they're going to be there 99% of the time.